Nothing goes away. I mean, everything kind of ties in. It doesn't tie in. Everybody kind of knows somebody. When you get older, is that karma? This is an open question. I don't actually know. Let me give you a weird karma example. I have a very straightforward, I would dare say boring job at Metrolinx. I'm a technical writer. I got an email from someone. Let's just say her name's Karen Smythe. And she sends me an email going, "Hey, Michael, I don't know if you remember me. It's been a very long time. If you do, please say hi." Oh, it's Karen Smythe. Smythe. Oh, yeah. It's my 9th grade girlfriend. Except her name's a bit different. She spelled it S-M-Y-T-H. I thought there was an E at the end of it. So I wrote back and going, "Hey, Karen, it's been forever. How are you? This is great, man. I haven't even thought about you. Like St. Andrews Junior High was a very long time ago." Send this off. 5 minutes later, she gets an email back saying, "Oh, I think you've misunderstood, Michael, because I knew you at University of Waterloo." Okay. I didn't go to the University of Waterloo. Like, I never set foot at the University of Waterloo. And it takes 2 or 3 more emails before we realize she's looking for a guy, let's say the name is Brubaker, not Derbecker. And the Karen Smythe I knew actually had an E at the end of her name. There is no reason this should happen whatsoever. By the way, the Karen who contacted me, we're not keeping in touch. Like we have absolutely nothing to reminisce about. But karma's weird. It kind of drags you into that kind of confusion, and things that should be a straight line are not necessarily a straight line. Can I give you another example? Okay. My son is 19 years old, which means he was born how many years ago? 19 years ago, very good. 19 years ago, I have an infant son. I'm living in Toronto. I'm doing the same thing I do for Metrolinx at one of Canada's banks. Not a lot of sleep. I'm getting actually like 4 hours of sleep because I'm helping to deal with a baby, but I can sleep for an hour on the streetcar to and from work. That equals 6 hours of sleep a day, which means I'm almost sane. I'm almost normal, just barely almost. I am maybe a little paranoid. This is a good job. I'm getting paid more in this job than I've ever been paid in my life, but I don't want to lose the job. So I'm a little paranoid. I'm a workaholic by nature, and I'm being very, very careful, and I'm trying to make sure I do not lose my job. And after a meeting, someone I work with comes up to me and goes, "Michael, HR might call you in the near future because there's been a report. Someone says that they knew you a long time ago, and you were kind of frightening. So that's all they told us, but HR might call you." I have no idea what this could possibly deal with. I mean, I don't know what this has to do with anything whatsoever. I try to ignore it. 1 or 2 days later, someone else comes and says, "You are going to get a call from HR. Don't worry, they just have some questions about you." And I am paranoid. I'm going to lose my job. My child and my wife are going to starve to death. And I'm being falsely accused of something. Or am I being falsely accused? Did I do anything that stupid in my youth? Or 5 years ago? Or 10 years ago? What is this possibly about? I have no idea. Have I ever pissed off anybody enough that they would possibly want to attack me, decades later? I don't know why I went back to this particular event, but I did. There's one person I pissed off in my life. It was a former girlfriend. And it's not for the reasons you're thinking. What reasons are you thinking, by the way? Broke up? No. Cheated? No. Let me think about that. No, I didn't. Of course not. What kind of a monster do you people think I am? Kind of horrified here. And so what? When this happened, this was 19 years ago, I was, younger than I am now. Okay, full confession. I was 35 years old when this happened. And I'm going back to someone I dated when I was 16. Okay. Her name is Catherine, but if she liked you, you could call her Kitty. She was Irish. She was a friend of a friend of mine. We went to a concert. We kind of hooked up. And she was beautiful. I mean, she was absolutely gorgeous and kind of bird-like and long blonde hair and very dark eyes and very pale skin and a beautiful Irish accent I will not try to impersonate. But also, her dad was political, by the way. Irish politics, which I have no truck in whatsoever, except he was a unionist. Proud Protestant, yeah. Had tattoos of King William of Orange up and down his legs, up and down his arms. Maybe his legs too, but definitely up his arms. She's not political. I'm just her boyfriend. I used to read a lot of Irish literature and poetry and stuff, even when I was a teenager. So it's not really an issue. And we dated for a while, then we broke up, then we kind of got back together and we broke up. It's one of those situations. I was in university when I got back in touch with her, and things kind of went naturally from there. I think I was around 23, and I was a film student. And she had contacted me and said, listen, Michael, I need you to do a favor. My dad is having a seminar at a place, and I want you to film it, and I'll pay you. Okay, sure, why not? The seminar is at Royal Orange Lodge. Anyone know the Orangemen? Okay, Irish politics, very quickly. Protestants, Catholics shooting each other for a very long time. The Orange Lodge would do things like burn the Pope in effigy once a year. Yeah. I want nothing to do with this. I'm not even Catholic. I want nothing to do with this. I do not understand the politics. And she has not been political. Her father is political. And it's kind of a tenuous connection anyhow. I dated her when I was 16 and then kind of got back together when I was 18, and then we kind of hooked up when I was 20. And it's 3 years later, and it's a big stretch in developmental terms, right? All those years. But I like Kitty. Like, I genuinely like Kitty. I can't film this. I do not understand the conflict. I am not going to take sides. I'm not going to do anything that looks like I'm taking sides in a conflict I do not understand. But I want to help her out. I am a film student, so I start asking around. The first guy asked his name, Rob, and I said, hey, would you film something for the Orangemen? I forgot that Rob was an Irish Catholic. Oh yeah, that answer was really interesting and long and profane in full sentences. That didn't go over. I asked a few other people, no one could do it. I finally found a dude, he was Iranian. And I said, there is a conflict in Northern Ireland because it is presently, and he said, you know what, I don't care. I don't understand, but if you pay me, I'll do it. Perfect. So the money that Catherine was going to pay me, I actually give to him outright. I'm not going to charge her. He's going to get paid. Her dad's going to get the film. Catherine's going to be happy, right? Right? I mentioned earlier that she wasn't political. Not till just then. Because I called her and I said outright, and I quote, I said, okay, sweetie, listen, here's the thing. The Orangemen really creep me out, and I don't understand what it's all about, so I can't do this. I mean, if I do this, I'm going to think I have blood in my hands or something. But I found a guy who's going to do it. I'm going to pay him, and he's going to do it for you. And, it's on me, and you get the film, and, and we're cool, right? She took a very long time before responding. And I'm gonna butcher her accent, I'm sorry. After a long time, she said, so Michael, you're telling me that you, who have never lived in Ireland, who have never been to Ireland, are too good to do something for my father, to do something for me. I don't want your favors, Michael. I want to spit on my skin where you've touched me. For around 2 or 3 seconds, I really, really want to say, oh, come on! You can't bend backwards that far. I don't think that would have gone over well. She hangs up the phone, and I never spoke to her again. No, wait, I did. I got a phone call around 6 months later where she said, I think after the influence of a few drinks, quote, I do not like what you did, but you had told me you did not understand, and I might have thought about that before I spoke. So is it safe to say that we did not separate on the best of terms?
Yes.
And this has nothing to do with me being 35 years old and having a baby and working for a bank, except for my paranoid, sleep-deprived brain thinking, if I've pissed off anybody, it's going to be Catherine, and maybe she works for the bank. This doesn't make sense, but it's what I was feeling at the time. And I had one person too many say something like, hey, Mike, has HR gotten in touch? Okay, to hell with it. I go to HR, and I tell this entire story to them, and I say, I want this out in the open. I don't know what I'm being accused of. I have people telling me I should talk to you. What the hell is going on? And the HR rep looks very surprised. And she says, oh, for God's sake. Okay, listen, come downstairs with me. I'll buy you a cup of coffee, and we can talk about it. And she takes me through the HR floor at this particular bank. And as we're walking through, she's talking to people, saying, hey, Richard, we got a meeting on Thursday? Okay, I'll see you there. Hey, Karen, are you looking good? Okay, are we still on for 2 o'clock? Great, so on and so on. And we get to the elevator, and she looks at me and says, you have to come back to my office right now. So I do. And then she says, the person who wants to talk about you and who is threatened by you, you just met. That was Karen at her desk. And she did not respond whatsoever. She didn't look at you and know who you were, did she? I said no. And among other things, Karen looked very nice, but Karen was not Catherine. And Karen was also Korean. So I doubt she's Irish. And then the rest got easy. I had to sign a document where I said, I have no idea what's happening here. I swear that this is some kind of misunderstanding. I will not change my story, et cetera, et cetera. I signed the document, and the HR rep takes me to Karen's desk and says, Karen, have you met Michael? And she looks up and goes, no, hi. And I take out my wallet, and I show her my driver's license. And she looks at me, and she looks at the name, and she looks at me, and she looks so relieved. She goes, oh, God. And then she looks kind of ashamed. This is karma, right? Here's the weird part. Let's just say that, Michael Derbecker is a weird name. Michael, let's say Brubaker, is a little more common. And somebody with a name like that is the person who did something to her a very long time ago that scared her enough that when she saw my name on a sheet someplace, she started telling people, I have to talk to HR because he's bad news, he's terrifying, he's scary. This is all random karma, but it all kind of comes together at one point or another. And I don't understand karma. I just understand that if there is actually justice and karma someplace, that the Mike Brubaker wakes up in an alley someplace without any teeth. Cheers. Thank you very much. Good night.